Welcome to week 7 of Explore the Bible. Continuing today in the book of Genesis and continuing the story of Noah. We've got last week, this week, and then this coming week, our 3 weeks into the story of Noah. Today we're in Genesis chapter 8. Before we look at that passage, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. If you like what we're doing, hit the like button. Appreciate that. Comment, questions, put those in there. Share it with somebody else. Appreciate it if you'll do that. And if you want to support the work we're doing in mission and teaching, go to give.exposedtochrist.com and you can help support that work. All right, let's look at Genesis chapter 8. So Noah waited 7 more days and sent out the dove from the ark again. Okay, we are deep into this story by this point, right? We've already had the flood. Now the rain has stopped and they're just waiting for the water to recede. It's been a long time. We'll see the time here in a bit. Okay, when the dove came to him at evening, there was a plucked olive leaf in its beak. So Noah knew that the water on the earth's surface had gone down. So obviously the dove's got a tree branch, a leaf in its beak, then there's something, not underwater. After he'd waited another 7 days, he sent out the dove, but it did not return to him again. It's found a place to live. So it's been a couple of weeks. It's been a long time, okay? This process is part of, I think, telling the story of the fact that the earth was covered in water. It was underwater completely. This is part of this whole thing of not just saying, well, it rained and then there was a big flood and then Noah left the boat. It's to let you know, okay, there was a process he was going through because it was flooded completely. In the 601st year, in the first month, on the first day of the month, the water that had covered the earth was dried up. And then Noah removed the ark's cover and saw that the surface of the ground was drying. By the 27th day of the second month, the earth was dry. Okay, so here we go. Here's our clue, our statement, right? In the 601st year, in the first month, on the first day of the month. You know what this means? It's been a solid year since they entered the ark. The rain came. The waters rose, everything flooded, and then they waited, and they waited, and they waited for the water to go down. Remember, it stopped raining after 40 days and 40 nights. So a month and in 10 days stopped raining, and they've been on this boat for 11 more months, basically, right? So then they can see that the water that had covered the earth was dried up, right? The surface of the ground was dry, and so now he can look and see the ground. Before, he's sending the dove out, and the dove's coming back with a leaf, and then he sends it out again a week later, and the dove doesn't come back, okay? So now he's seeing this. It's been, a full year, and he's seeing that there is ground. He can see the ground. Okay, now, then God spoke to Noah. Come out of the ark, you, your wife, your sons, and your sons' wives with you. Bring out all the living creatures that are with you, birds, livestock, those that crawl on the earth, and they will spread over the earth and be fruitful and multiply on the earth. Okay, so it's not until the Lord says, open the door. Remember, the Lord closed the door. Now the Lord says, open the door. This is so important for us to think about just the process for Noah and how he makes his decisions. I don't know that we just kind of read the story, right? But Noah and his family are on the ark. And I feel certain there are conversations about, should we open the door? Should we leave? We can see the ground now. Maybe we should go. And Noah's, wait. And then finally, God spoke to Noah and said, come out of the ark. And so, okay, now we can come. Now we can leave. And we let all the animals go too. There is so much that they couldn't see that they needed to trust the Lord to wait. You hear that? There's so much that we can't see that we need to trust the Lord about when to move, when to go. Wait on Him. Wait on Him. There's so much that we can't see. All right. So Noah, along with his sons, his wife, and his sons' wives, came out. And all the animals and all the creatures that crawl and all the flying creatures, everything that moves on the earth, came out of the ark by their families. So then what do? What's the next thing that you do? Excuse me. Then Noah built an ark to the Lord, an altar to the Lord. He took some of every kind of clean animal and every kind of clean bird and offered burnt offerings on the altar. Here's what Noah did. Noah built an altar to the Lord and offered burnt offerings. Noah keenly understood that the reason that he was alive and his family was alive and no one else was because of the grace of the Lord. The grace of the Lord to him. And so when he has an opportunity to offer a burnt offering, which obviously he can't do when he's on the ark made out of wood, when he when he gets this chance to offer a burnt offering, that's what he does right off the bat. He builds an altar before anything else. The first thing that he did was build an altar. This ought to be a model for us, right? The first thing after being delivered by the Lord, after being saved by the Lord, after having the Lord show great grace and mercy to us, the first thing is to worship him, to give an offering to him of thanks and praise and worship. And when the Lord smelled the pleasing aroma, I love that. When the Lord smelled the pleasing aroma, he said to himself, I will never again curse the ground because of human beings, even though the inclination of the human heart is evil from youth onward, and I will never again strike down every living thing as I have done. As long as the earth endures, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, and day and night will not cease. Okay. This anthropomorphic, that's what that's called, the anthropomorphism. The Lord smelled. It's giving him characteristics as of a human, even though the Lord is beyond us, right? The Lord smelled the pleasing aroma. What made it pleasing? It made it pleasing because it was an offering, and it was not just, they weren't just cooking dinner. It was an offering to the Lord, right? And so then the Lord said to himself, which is an interesting phrase. Basically, the Lord made this declaration. I will never again curse the ground because of human beings. But look at this. Here's the nature of humanity has not changed. Just because he has wiped out, the nature of humanity has not changed. Noah inherited from Adam and Eve, and his family, they inherited from Adam and Eve, and that will go on through them, right? The inclination of the human heart is evil from youth onward. This is the sinful nature that exists within humanity, that shows up as children in our lives. It's that inclination towards selfishness, that inclination towards sinfulness. All sin is there in us, in all of us. That inclination is to evil. The inclination of the human heart is to evil. Always has been, always will be, right? But he says, I won't ever strike down every living thing as I have done, because he's made a decision. I will not do this again. We're going to see some more of this next week, right? But his commitment is to the existence of humanity and the growth of humanity. His salvation has not yet appeared. The salvation that he has planned has not yet appeared. But here we are, these guys giving us this great story of faith, of trust in the Lord, of waiting on the Lord, and then this lesson from the Lord about us, that we have an inclination towards evil. And I think we know that, don't we? We know. Politicians say this all the time, man is inherently good. The Lord says, no, man is not. Man is inherently evil. That's what this verse says, right? The inclination of the human heart is evil. Man is not inherently good. Man is inherently evil. He needs salvation. We all do. Thanks for watching. I hope that's helped. God bless you. Thank you for teaching. Hope you're having a great new year. And as you go forward in this, thanks for giving of your time and your effort to help others grow in their walk. If you haven't already, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Like, comment, questions, share it with somebody else. See you next time.